All right. Hey, what's up? What's going on, everybody? What's poppin'? Everybody that's watching live. And I don't know if you're watching this weeks from now. Thank you for popping popping on in on the channel and watching us talk about some fun stuff here. Really interesting, guys. First, before I start off, I'm sure you can put two and two together because you're smart and you know exactly what I have begun investing in because of the hashtag on the video. That's okay. Um, but in all honesty, man, this book right here, this book, The Essays of Warren Buffett, is just really, really giving me much to think about. It's really helping me in the evolution of being an investor and doing what I'm doing, and really making me answer some tough questions, especially about dividend paying companies. So, man, it is all part of it. It's all part of what you should be doing, right? It's why they say that continually learning is the bare minimum that you need to do until the day that you die. You should be going to bed smarter than when you woke up. And if you're not, something is wrong and you need to make a change. But we won't bloviate too much on that. So, yeah, we'll just get into a little bit of that and why I'm buying SCHD, ticker SCHD. For those of you that don't know, I mean, this thing has just been beaten to death. Everybody and their brother has done it, 2-3 times. I've done my share on SCHD, and I don't know, guys. I'm going to be interested to share a quick rundown out of the essays that Warren gave about the case against dividends, and it really, really is. It's eye-opening. It's eye-opening to say the least. But for those of you that tuned in, let's get to it. I might want to bring you along before I go ahead and start sharing the screen for you. But hey, what's up, guys? Yeah, tell me where you're from. I love it. Canada, Oregon, in the house, everywhere that you guys may be watching. I think this is just really, really good fun. And I'll just share the entire screen to start it off. What the heck? What the hey, everybody? Let's go right to here. So we'll just pop right on to, I'm only going to go over a few minutes of what SCHD is. And let's see, where do I want myself down here. I don't know. Do you guys need to see me or not? I don't know. We'll leave myself down there for a minute. But SCHD currently 0.06% expense ratio. So that's less than $5 on $1,000 if my calculations are correct. And all that it does is it tracks as closely as possible the Dow Jones US Dividend 100 Index. And what I love about this is it's the blue chip companies, the big badass blue chip companies that I love investing in. So I'm always going to want to invest in those companies because they truly are the ones that make the world go around. And we'll just really quick get into so right now there's a 0.3% premium on those shares of SCHD. So ideally we'd want to buy when the premium is at a discount, obviously, because we all love discounts, not the 5-finger kind, but yeah, don't do the 5-finger discounts. No good, no bueno. Currently 103 holdings inside of this. So it's very safe. There's not a lot of danger here. I'm going to show you in a second what they are, what they have in here. So just let's see. Am I blocking this? I'm going to pull myself off. Bear with me here. Let's go full screen on this right here so you can get the full immersive experience. Yeah. So these are the top 10 holdings inside of SCHD. Keep in mind, there's very low exposure to utilities. I think last it was like 0.35%. And real estate is 0. There's no real estate. Those, yeah, they pay a higher yield, but those dividends are non-qualified. So most of the companies here, if not all, I honestly haven't checked, are going to be qualified dividends, man. So Verizon, Broadcom, Home Depot, Texas Instruments, Cisco Systems. You guys saw that overlap video I did. I own a lot of these outright, and then I own them in like VVIAX or VIGAX. Some of the Vanguard mutual funds that are with my work retirement account, but Cisco Systems, Merck, BlackRock, IBM, PepsiCo, Coca-Cola. So those are the top 10. And, you guys, you can check this out. Everybody has the, I don't know, did I include, crap, I didn't include the link. We'll put it in when I'm done, but if you click on all holdings, I mean, you could just see, pause the video if you want. We'll just scroll through some of them, but Lockheed Martin, Pfizer. So you're getting exposure for $77 to all of these companies. 3M obviously is one of the ones that I considered selling 3M out of the Roth and buying in and just buying more SCHD for that exposure. What do we got? Kimberly-Clark, Paychex even. They're all just, they're not massive positions. Cummins, Allstate, M&T Bank, T. Rowe Price. So a lot of people, this is why people and investors want to keep it simple. And I will get to, I'll just tell you right now. So I'll wait till I'm on the screen and I can see what you guys are saying. So we'll just finish wrapping this up here with Cincinnati Financial, Key Corp. Just 103, I think, couple of positions. I think at the bottom is cash. What else we got? Whirlpool. We just talked about Whirlpool on the last video. Hasbro. Just companies that make the world go around. The bad part is you may not want to own some companies like Western Union here. I'm not a big believer in Western Union and what they're doing in the future. I think they're kind of a melting ice cube, right? They're starting to go away. Evercore, somebody brought up Evercore before. I think that's the healthcare company. So just a lot of great companies here. And even Buckle. I didn't realize Buckle, shout out if you're a mall rat and you see Buckle in the malls. They're actually I've looked into them way back when. They would look like a decent company. Sturm Ruger. And let me see those 103 because this is the three. Here we go. So you have the US dollar, $6.4 million dollars are being held. Interesting. Quantity, 10,276,191. So I don't know if that's an index. This looks like the DJIA mini. I don't know what these last two are. And the S&P mid 400. Those I didn't look into, but that's where you get the three. So they have 100 dividend-paying companies, cash, and then two other positions in that. And we will, a little bit of news here. We'll get back to news in a second if any of you guys want to see it. But I just wanted to show you in case you're watching and wondering with bated breath. Current yield on SCHD, 3.29%. And the dividend growth, just very nice, 12% over the last 10 years, 14% increase. Remember, this is an aggregate of 100 companies that pay a dividend, and they are currently paying $2.56, and obviously up and to the right. And the last ex-dividend date was December 7th. So that's what I'm going to be buying 100 shares of, not one a week. I may do 2, 3, 4, 5 heavier, depending on what it looks like. And I'll say hi to you guys in a second, but that's what I'm doing with SCHD. And the thought being that I want to start looking into better opportunities that may not pay a dividend. And this is a really interesting shift that's been going on with me. And, shout out to Warren. How can I sum this up simply? He ran a scenario, hypothetically, that we each own a business. So say that we're equal owners in a business that has a $2 million net worth. And if you want to pay out 2/3 as a dividend, 1/3 as a dividend and reinvest the other 2/3 is scenario one. So you'd get $40,000 a year and the other, 80,000, that's our half of the share. You would be reinvesting into the business. All things equal is that the business would grow at 12%, their net worth. But because we're taking 4% as a dividend, only 8% is going to be reinvested back into the business. So the business is only going to grow at 8%. And at the end of, let me give you the exact number here. So at the end of those 10 years, our shares would have a net worth of $2,698,000. So the option B is a sell-off. After 10 years, the total net worth would be $4.3 million. That would be your $2 million compounded at 8%. The other scenario would be to just not take any dividends, reinvest all of your free cash, right? You have restricted earnings and then unrestricted earnings. So restricted earnings are like if you drive to work, you can't spend your gas money. You could, but you can't spend your gas money because you can't get to work to make money. So that's your restricted earnings. But then everything above and beyond, like gas and shelter and food, because if you don't eat, you'll die. So you have to set money aside to buy food so you don't die. And then the unrestricted earnings is what you could invest. You could, blow it on a weekend in Vegas and penthouse parties. It might not be the best, it might be fun, but anyway, so back to our little, and this is oversimplifying it. So you're either going to take the dividends and reinvest in the business, or what you're also going to do is not pay a dividend, and that 2 million is going to compound at 12%. So that extra 4% is going to make a difference. And then he says you would sell off 3.2% of your stake every year to get that same $40,000. But because the business is growing at a 4% faster clip, it's getting bigger, larger. And also the other part is that there's always outside owners that he says theoretically want to buy in at 125% of book value. So every dollar that's attributable to us that's owned is worth $1.25. So that's going to keep growing as well, that 125% over book value. And so that's the number. It would be after 10 years, taking dividends, 2 million, compounding at 8% is 4.3 million. But if we were to leave that in the business and even reducing our stake 3.2% per year, the final value would be, this guy has some super, super sloppy writing. It's 6 million. I didn't write it down. It's like a little like 6.5 million or so. So that 4% makes a lot. So you have bigger cash distributions that you decide when you want to take, and the piece of the business is bigger and worth more. So it's a really, really interesting thing. I'll wrap it up with this and I'll get to you guys. I'm not going to do like my buddy Ryan Williams and get 20 minutes behind. Shout out, buddy. And so it's just also inefficient is the last thing that I'll add to this. And again, this was something I'm really oversimplifying here, and I may need to do a video on it, but you don't decide when you want to take those cash distributions and at what rate. You are forced to take them, and you have to pay taxes on those dividends. And even if you want to reinvest into the business, remember, anything you're paying over intrinsic value or book value. So if you're doing that 125%, you're paying a 25% premium to rebuy in more shares. So yeah, it's a really interesting thing, and I'd love to know what you guys think about it, but it really is shifting my mindset. And this is why I'm going to be buying 100 shares of SCHD, because as I grow and evolve, I'm going to be looking at different opportunities, and some of them may not pay a dividend, going in with what he's saying and how they operate Berkshire and what they do with Berkshire. And I'm going to be employing look-through earnings. I'm going to build a spreadsheet for myself. I'll share that, looking at look-through earnings. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Warren's look-through earnings. It's, in a nutshell, it's looking at everything that could be paid out, less the taxes. And you can do that for every business and look at if the look-through earnings are growing or decreasing. And you want businesses that are growing. So again, this is a lot of steps. This is something I'm passionate about, that I am loving. And if you don't, like he said, man, you could buy an S&P 500 index fund, broad-based, low fee, Vanguard. What, 0.05 is that a SPY? I think I remember. So anyway, let's know what you think. I'm gonna breeze through these, pop up some of you guys on the screen here. Yeah, Bob's working on SCHD, and oh yeah. So why I'm doing it is a lot of the overlap companies, I'm gonna hold them for now, but as I see better opportunities, I likely will be, like General Dynamics is one of them. I know I don't believe they were in SCHD, but I do own them inside of VVIAX. So I'm going to let those just do their thing, take the dividends. And as I see better opportunities on the horizon as they pop up, I most likely would say I'll just sell off shares. I'll peel off shares of General Dynamics and then buy something that, as I'm learning and growing, looks like a better long-term opportunity. And it's not a criteria, and I've been guilty of this too, is just buying something if it pays a dividend, or not buying it because it doesn't pay a dividend. I've turned a blind eye to a lot of companies that didn't pay a dividend, and that's not a great way to invest. It shouldn't preclude you from buying or not buying a company. It should just be a component of it. Like they say, because when a company pays a dividend, they are making an admission that the compounding effect is deteriorating or gone because they can no longer turn $1 of retained earnings into something more than $1 at current market value. So if that's the case, then yeah, you pay it out in the form of a dividend. But you're also admitting that the compounding factor is definitely diminishing or drying up. So that's what I'm doing. I still want my blue chips, and I really like SCHD to know that I will have exposure to 100 of the best companies, and that's what I'm doing. Hey everyone, all right, I'm just going to go through. Bob's in Oregon. We got greetings from, I don't know what this is. This is foreign. So Florin, if you could type that out, let us know. What questions do you guys have? Do you want to know anything? Let me know. Spit it out. What do you want to hear? Let's see. How long does a company stay on SCHD? Coyote says after it stops paying a dividend. I guess that would be up to the index. If they're removed from the DJIA 100 index, then they would also be removed from SCHD. But I would think it would be pretty quickly. Good question. I don't know the exact answer to that, but I'm assuming if they're no longer paying a dividend, they're not going to be in the dividend index. So it would be, hey, look at this. FC, he's in Wyoming. Shout out. My brother lives in Cheyenne. So world needs more cowboys. Debatable. I'm a city slicker. I'm a city slicking Yankee up here. Let's see. Steve asked about Verizon in the last couple of weeks. SCHD rebalanced, and now Verizon is the top holding. Thoughts? You're at the mercy of ETFs. This is one reason why some investors don't like ETF investing is because you don't get to do the rebalancing. I don't know what the long-term effects of that would be, but I'm still confident in Verizon. I'd like to see them in the 30s again. And it's just slow growth, though. Slow growth. With Verizon, I don't think you can reasonably expect much capital appreciation, if any at all, right? We get in a range from the high 30s to the low 50s, the really low 50s. And I think that's about all you're going to expect. So collect the dividends and pay your taxes on those dividends if they're in a taxable. But yeah, Verizon, expensive, capital intensive business. This is another thing that I've been learning and looking at is trying to find businesses that can make a lot of money without having to use a lot of money. That's one of the keys for seeing really nice earnings growth. And again, I tweeted it out that your portfolio, it's not on how the dividends are, it's on the company's earnings. So the health of your portfolio, in essence, is not about the dividends you're receiving, but the earnings of the company that's paying those dividends. And it does take extra work. And I think this is something that is not for everyone. It takes a long time, but honestly, I'm loving it. I'm loving it. I'm stealing copyright and shout out McDonald's. But yeah, as far as VZ as the top holding, that's probably going to change. And yeah. Oh, there he is. He's in the house. What's up, Ryan? So, dude, I know I've been saying a lot. I've just been spitting information at you, and I'm just loving the journey, and it really has been eye-opening. And obviously, Warren invests in a lot of dividend-paying companies, but that's not the sole reason why. They're not buying a company just because it pays a dividend. They're buying the business that may happen to pay a dividend. And yeah, that's what Berkshire is doing. So let's see. Who else do we got here? What do you guys want to talk about? What are you doing this weekend? You watching football? I didn't watch any football. And so here we go. How many PEP are you going to be selling to buy your SCHD units? LOL. I don't know. None. I'm going to be holding PEP. I have a really nice cost basis. It's $150. Although they've been pulling back, it's okay because I'm not planning on selling them at all. But I'm just really, really, none. That's your short answer. Yeah, Warren approves the S&P index funds. Dude, yeah, SCHD, and this is all on your goals. That's why they say, I know a lot of, by the way, I read Simple Path to Wealth by J.L. Collins this week, and it's kind of, hand wave if you've read Simple Path to Wealth by J.L. Collins. I'll sum it up for you. This is J.L. Collins's underspend your income, pay off debt, stay out of debt other than a mortgage, which you should also be paying off, and also to invest the surplus essentially into something like VTSAX, and she'll just do that and you will be wealthy. He even goes on to say that uh, much like if you're taking karate lessons and you're going to be in a fight with a bunch of guys, if you're not able to do you shouldn't take them on if you can't do what Bruce Lee did. So if you're not Bruce Lee, you shouldn't be attempting that. And he says the same thing. You shouldn't be investing in individual companies. He said for a period of time, he thought he could read an annual report, look at earnings statements, and invest in individual companies. But he says it's just too risky. You can't do it. And if your name is not Warren Buffett, then you should not be trying to invest in individual companies. But I'm pushing back on that a little bit. I don't think it's that difficult to find good companies. And, with the caveat that you have to be able to spend a little bit more time and try to do this. If you don't want to spend the time, you don't want to learn, you don't want to read a big honking book like the Essays of Warren Buffett and really start to say like, oh, I may have, I need a lot more to learn. I'm a lot further at the beginning of the path than I am toward the middle or end. And if you don't want to do that, buy SCHD, buy ETFs. But for me, shout out to Casey. I haven't gotten down if she's there. Franchise Group, ticker FRG. Super high conviction in it. And I've been going through the annual report, just started, because I'm curious. I want to see, why does this person that's in our community have such high conviction on this company? So, from Wyoming, buddy, my new goal. It's going to be easy. It's probably going to take me half a year. And if the market drops, which I'm hoping, I'm going to go heavier, but at a minimum, I'll be buying 1 share of SCHD a week in the retirement account. And we'll see what that does. We'll see. And each of my daughters will inherit 50 shares. Probably. I don't plan on selling, but with that caveat that there always is a time and a place to sell. I know we say forever, and I truly do mean forever. Warren says forever, but dude, they've sold a lot of companies, right? They've sold things over the years. And he said, sometimes you're wrong. Sometimes your thesis for originally investing changes. So it would be suicide to invest in Pepsi and say, I'm never going to sell Pepsi. And then it comes out that we hear Ramon LaGuardia is part of some Latin American drug cartel, and he's been putting Coca-Cola, or he's been putting cocaine into the PepsiCo. All hypothetical. This is not breaking news. And the company starts. I would sell. I would say, wow, there's something really wrong with this company, and your thesis for investing changed. So I always think of it as forever with an asterisk, because anything can happen and anything will happen. So I will sell like that if you're wrong, if your thesis for investing changes, if the core fundamentals of the company look like they are shifting or starting to deteriorate, probably a good time to sell or think about selling. So my buddy Ryan's doing the same. Oh, he's not talking to me. Yeah. Diamond hands. Yeah. So it's funny. You hear me stumbling to say that, Bob, that, yeah, he doesn't eschew them. He put it this way. He'll receive the dividends, but he won't pay them. And it's funny because the dividends that they take in-house, they still don't pay a dividend because they are under the impression that they can, either through buybacks or just reinvesting into the business, that they can turn $1 into more than $1 of current present value. So they're not going to pay a dividend for a while. And that's in a nutshell why Berkshire doesn't pay dividends. What's up, Gary? I don't know what that was. Anyway, let's see. Yeah. Nibbling away at BMO. I did. I actually added more to TD. I sold my 2 shares of Microsoft, by the way. If you don't have it, in the description below, there's a link to my newsletter or also the my ebook. Dude, get the ebook. I wrote it a few years ago. If you tweet, and lots of good stuff in here, just you'll get signed up for the newsletter. So every Sunday night, I'll be working on it tonight, putting it out. I'm going over everything I bought, everything I sold, all the dividends received in the past week. And it's just a nice little easy weekly newsletter. Quick little thought at the top. I'm trying to get those a little shorter. I can be a little bit wordsy, as you can tell. I feel like I get paid by the word sometimes, but I don't get paid anything. So yeah, I actually bought 3 different tranches of Toronto Dominion. I bought 7 shares. I bought 5 and 2 at 64.35 and then 3 at 65.95. So I think I'm up to like 25 shares of TD. And I've done that to escape the Canadian withholding tax on the dividends for us here. I hold those BMOs in the Roth, and Toronto Dominion, ticker TD, is inside of the self-directed IRA. Here we go. KC with the look-through earnings. Is to model everything as a dividend, right? That's what I'm doing. So, all I'm going to do is just everything of so the plan was, and if I understand it right, Casey, is to take the diluted earnings per share, multiply that by the shares you own, and then your tax rate. So just for simplicity's sake, I'm going to use 15%, right? Because that's just a common. So then I'll do that and get the look-through earnings number, at least for the portion that I own. And I want to see year over year if that's growing or diminishing, or I could just, go back 2, 3, 4 years of the diluted earnings per share, which all that means is it's all the outstanding warrants, options, restricted units. What I understand, everything that could come due. It's like that hypothetical assuming, okay, everything outstanding is going to come due. So a lot of times the diluted number will be lower than the standard or the GAAP earnings per share. And I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to keep it simple and use the diluted earnings per share, and come up with my own look through earnings and just get a good gauge on if the business is growing, or because at the end of the day, like I said, dude, the business is what you want to be buying. And that's something that I think a lot of us, and I've been guilty of it. I'll just tell you, when I bought General Dynamics, I saw they had a good dividend safety score, and they are, they've been growing that dividend for a long time. I understand the business, and I've done well with them. But I haven't really followed them all that much, even though I hold them. Maybe there hasn't been reason to. So SCHD has a lot of Mo. All right. Yeah, I know Mo's interesting. I've been trickling into Mo. I wish they had more international exposure. For those of you that don't know, Altria broke out of Philip Morris. So Philip Morris is supposed to be like healthy competition, I think, or friendly competition. But as of late, feels a little bit more than that. But Altria is only here in the United States. And it's why I invest also in BTI, British American Tobacco. But these companies, man, the cigarette companies, cigarette sales are declining, which is why they're branching into the vaping and heat not burn technology, cannabis. I know they have a little bit of alcohol exposure, and I think cannabis may be a big one, but I don't like cannabis. It just doesn't agree with me. If it does for you, shout out, God bless you. And I have no problem with it. It's just the handful of times I've tried it. Just give me a nice couple cold Guinnesses and I am a happy camper. I don't get it. I don't get the weed. Just at least one a week, James. That's what my SCHD is looking like. Just 1 share a week, maybe more. If it's at a good price, if it's all of a sudden at $74, $73, I'm probably going to buy 5, 6, 7 shares. So it should be quick. I think I'm already up to 5 shares since I've started doing this. Oh, empty-handed. Well, Ryan, first of all, it's, what is it? We're 11 o'clock in the morning here. Noon. It's noon. Not a day drinker. So I've got my wife's Irish, what is this, a Tervis tumbler? That Tervis tumbler. So, dude, I've been just like nonstop, right? But it's okay. This is why it's fun to have live streams with people, because I can just shut up for a minute, collect my thoughts. You guys aren't here and just like rapid fire, and it's something I'm learning. I need to learn to slow it down, collect my thoughts, have dramatic pauses in between words. So you get more of a feel that what I'm saying is incredibly important, right? Someday I might learn to do that. Nice, dude. Budweiser for Coyote. Yeah, what are you guys drinking? Are you big day drinkers? I'm not. I don't really like to have my first drink until after I've eaten dinner. Just my personal preference. Hey, no no dig against anyone that likes to have beer for breakfast. God bless you. It's your body, your life. Do what you want with it, you know. No fun league. Oh, nice. No football. Well, you're up there in Canada. You crazy Canucks. You you crazy Canucks. You got the CFL. Canada, Canada. I love you Canadians. What would we do without you? What do they call you? America's hat? Let's see. Yeah, nice. Bob read Simple Path to Wealth too. What do you think about that? I mean, he had some interesting things to say in Simple Path. And Dan, what's up, man? Another Navy guy out there. I don't believe Dan's a vet. I think Dan was recruiting. I think he's still in, by the way. And yeah, so yeah, Casey, I just started looking into FRG, and that's all it takes. Quite honestly, when somebody says, I've looked at a bunch of stocks and I love these stocks right here, kind of like I did with that cheap dividend video I did last, ran a screener, sifted through, grabbed 10 names, and dude, just happy to share. And like I said, disclaimer, you should do your own due diligence, whatever that looks like for you, but I'm off the hook now. I don't have to worry about it. Don't just go out and buy because you hear some goofy YouTuber saying it. Just do your own due diligence. I mean, you could get lucky, but you know, at the end of the day, though, in all seriousness, it's you. You're the one making the decisions, and that sounds cruel. I don't mean to point, but it's true. It's not if Graham Stephan tells you to buy something, it's not his fault if you buy it and it does bad, or you bought Tattooed Chef because is that Jeremy, the hat guy, financial education, tells you to buy it? It's your fault. It's your fault, not them. Oh, I didn't know this. FRG was in the news about being taken private. Interestingly, I didn't even see that. Dude, this is why I love doing this. You guys are on top of it. And if you're just watching, share something. One of you 43 fine folks out there, go ahead and push your words on the screen. So that's what happens when this guy has about 3 thoughts and they're all trying to compete for getting out of my mouth. Kind of gets all jumbled up, huh? Let's see. I don't remember what that's for. And yeah, she said she won't get in the management buyout rumor. She's spoken with management, not worried about it. Okay, cool. I like that, you know. Email. So IR, those of you that don't know, is investor relations for companies. Let's see. Chris, what's up, man? Dude, I like it. Chris is a big guy. I'm not a big guy. Yours truly is 6'4" and about 183 pounds. So I've been tall and skinny my whole life. And yeah. FRG, HRB. Oh, nice. HRB. Cool. I don't, what's that? H&R Block, I think. Thank you, Ryan. Ryan, by the way, has his own newsletter that I'm still having issues with. And I'm sorry, buddy. I got to get on that. I still use Hotmail. I had a friend once say, dude, why are you still using Hotmail? Like, I don't know. I got set up with Hotmail in 1997, January of 97. How many ever years ago that is? Actually, yeah, almost to the day. But anyway, I keep using it. Okay, Casey was saying a bunch. If you guys want to check that out, and I will go back and read what she was saying about FRG. Let's see. And Steve drinking Starbucks gingerbread coffee. Dude, from all of us Starbucks shareholders to you, we thank you. I would love to see from every cup of coffee. So Warren they figured out I think every 10th can of Coke sold belongs to Berkshire, the profits from that, from what they figured out, probably because they own what, a 10% stake. I don't remember what they owned at the time, but I'd love to figure that out. Every 18,333rd cup of Starbucks coffee, a tenth of a cent belongs to me. Something like that, right? Yeah. Let's see. Follow up on storage REIT discussion. LSI. Dude, I have been adding LSI. Small position. Jack Black in the house, everybody. Do a kickflip. What's up? All storage REITs jumped big last week. You know what? Let's see how much I own, Jack, because you were so nice to ask. And everybody, let's everybody look now at my portfolio. And people say, what the hell kind of what the hell kind is that? I don't know what comment that was. That was me. Crazy guy. So you can go like this. Portfolio. Shout out to those of you back in the. All right. Anyway, I'm not on the screen. Good, because I would be blocking some of this. So if any of you want to pause this and see a bunch of what I own as we scroll down, feel free to go back in the video and look at Uncle Russ's portfolio here. I have some non-dividend paying companies that are lumped in. By the way, this is all linked up with Schwab, so I don't have to do anything as we're slowly making our way to, on to Grin. I do share this. I update it every week. Here we are. LSI, Life Storage. I have 22 shares, currently at a cost per share of $96.36. So I'm already up 5%. Yield on cost, 4.98, almost 5%. And that's already, dude, $105 of annual income. Now, to those of you, I did sell positions to start building into this. One of the big ones, you remember, like I sold 14 shares of J&J at almost $180, which was very fortuitous because they dropped. But I'll finish scrolling if you want to. Oh, look, 136 shares of Maine I'm up to. Down to 48 shares of Altria. NEO, 125 shares. 92 of Realty Income. So look at Realty Income. This Sum Gum, dude, I wanted to get up to 100, and my cost per share is 61.78. I wanted down closer to that, but it just is not cooperating. Current yield on cost, 4.83%. I may, if it gets into like 63, 62 again ish, I may just grab the other 8 shares and be done with it. And so those are the companies here. Again, you can pause this at your leisure. I guess this has turned into a, what do you call that word? And see, I still have $3,600 of cash between 3 accounts that's waiting to be deployed. So yeah, there you go. It turned into an impromptu portfolio, whatever you call it. Portfolio, Canada. Let's see, what do you guys own? Okay, so that should answer your question, Jack, that I did buy more of. Not this week, though. I almost did at $101 because the intrinsic value, let's look at that. Let me show. Let's look, everybody. I need traveling music. We get traveling music over to the intrinsic valuation of good old Life Storage, ticker LSI, which I am a subcontractor for LSI. The base case, excuse me, $118.71. And the worst case is $102.68. So theoretically, giving 5 years of negative growth, it's still at a good valuation. But that ties into the price anchoring where I see my average cost and I'm like, and I did this with Celanese. I was buying at like 102, 103, even though I started my first position at $92. And Celanese is up to what, 120-ish I saw, but it's still probably undervalued. I just get that price anchoring where I'm like, no, I was buying at 92, and the great investors have done this too. They've made mistakes. There we go. Daniel, still recruiting, 14 months left. Is that recruiting or is that until you're done? We won't get too much into a Navy discussion here. I've been out since 99. Did you catch that? Fur. I've been out fur. And people are like, hey guy, how about 4? It's 4. What's that my wife always gets me on? Oh, figure. How do you figure? She's like, figure, Figger. I'm like, oh yeah, I guess it is figure. Not that this is going to turn into some lesson on, picking up all, dude, I wasn't. We won't get into that, but yeah. Put it this way, when you're in high school and you're 6'4" and probably 155 pounds soaking wet, acne, not a lot of confidence, glasses. It's one of the reasons I went in the Navy, dude. I just wanted to change. So that's one of the reasons. The bigger reason was I had a stepfather who I didn't get along with and was going to start charging me rent to live at home when I graduated. So yeah, that was no bueno. And there we go. There we go. The dig. I love it. Yeah, Hotmail exists, and I have problems getting Mr. Williams's newsletter. I don't know why. I've tried signing up. I don't know. 97 is 3 years before Casey was born. He uses, nice. This is all just, you guys can rip on me. Go ahead. Let it fly. Let it fly. I don't care. My wife still uses Hotmail too, and we don't know why. What do you guys recommend? Don't tell me you like using AOL or something. If it's not Hotmail, what do you use? Gmail? Here we go. Bro, my 78-year crazy aunt uses Hotmail. Dude, I guess I'm in the minority here. All right. Steven still uses Yahoo. Hey, one of my friends still uses AOL. I had to email him something a month or two ago, and I was like, what? At AOL? Is AOL still around? Didn't Apollo Management, didn't they buy AOL from Verizon? Or is that Yahoo Finance? Yeah, they bought Yahoo from Verizon. Oh, I love it. Dude, I didn't realize. Look at this. Everybody. Yeah, I use Hotmail, man, for my personal. Burke owns 9% of Co's. So yeah, one out of every, yeah. So still nice. So I'd love to figure that out for Starbucks, seeing that, they have, I don't know what their shares outstanding, but it's a number. It's a number for sure. It would be I would need a high powered microscope to see the number of penny that I'm going to be getting from every cup of Starbucks sold. Let's see. His wife is a Starbucks junkie. Good for all of us. And yeah, good. Let's see. By LSI over PSA or EXR. Well, first of all, I think they looked at a better valuation than Extra Space and From Public Storage, which are those two. But mostly this has to do with my business. We are a subcontractor for the corporate life storages here in the Chicagoland area, southern Wisconsin, northern Indiana. And I understand the business. I've been there multiple times to multiple locations. I see how they function. This was before I even started looking into the business as an investment. I see that I've talked with the employees that work there. That's where I first learned about Warehouse Anywhere, that they have businesses that will ship to life storages and they will store and then even it's just putting it closer to that final mile of destination. They're expanding when they do buy some of these old businesses or I'm sorry, old facilities. So here in Chicagoland, they will buy a warehouse, a former factory that is like brick, 100 years old, and they gut it, they paint it, they would do upgrades to it, put in a ton of storage units out where the trucks would be when they have big yards. That's all parking space that semis will park. People park the boats, the RVs, the campers, all that stuff. And it's just, I like what they do. They fix their equipment. When something breaks, they will fix it, and they will fix it quick. They just want it looking good and working. So I really like the way the business runs, and seeing it from the inside is literally having my hands on from the inside and talking with people. So I think it's just a good business. They have a nice plan to keep expanding. So that's some of the reasons. And that's not to say there's anything wrong with Extra Space Storage or Public Storage or even CubeSmart, ticker CUBE. But it's just I know Life Storage, and I feel very comfortable investing in them as a business. So let's see. Casey saw Warner Brothers. Hold that one. I'm assuming you're being hyperbolic. No, not hyperbaric. That's a chamber. You can't be hyperbaric unless you're a bacterial hyperbaric chamber, I guess. Then it may. I don't know. That's beyond my pay grade. Yeah, WBD, I've sold off a bunch. I do want to hold some, but I know they were in the news. They're raising prices. I think that's why they shot up a little bit this week, right? Because they're charging more for HBO Max, or it had a new name, HBO Plus, or I don't know. They're all doing Plus. Let's see. What do I value Maine at? Well, I won't bring you guys with, but as I'm typing this to tell you what the intrinsic value of Main Street is, so the base case $42.73, about 10% undervalued, and the worst case about $31. So always remember, guys, with intrinsic valuation, and so I don't think you could say this. I have been saying, and I don't remember who. Oh, it was I've read so many books. The Indian woman that, oh God, it escaped. It's going to hit me later. I can't think of her name, but I think she used it for intrinsic valuation, saying it's like knowing somebody needs to lose weight, but not knowing the exact amount that they weigh. Same thing with intrinsic valuation. It's a range. It's not an exact number. It's very subjective. Warren says him and Charlie, they come up with different intrinsic valuation numbers. So it's subjective from person to person, and it's just a range. Warren will say that, and this was back. I don't think you could say it anymore. So no need to offend anybody here, but he would say, but the principle stands. It's like if somebody weighs 300 pounds or 325 pounds, Warren's words, not mine. He says, they're fat and they need to lose weight, but you don't know exactly how much they weigh. You can just see the range. So, but that's not right, because some dudes are in the NFL, they weigh that much. They don't need to lose weight. But yeah, that's so that's what Maine's valuations are at, according to Alpha Spread. Dividend Rob says GPC, genuine parts. Do I plan to add more? I don't. That's one of the ones that I don't know. I'm just comfortable holding. It's one of those in limbo holdings, I guess, where I don't really look at it, but I'm not really adding. So I think it's one that, because I have some overlap within my retirement account, my 401k inside of VVIAX, that I think it's VVIAX. I think so. There's two main ones, my two big ones, which I don't share, but that's one of the ones that once I find a really good opportunity and I need cash, likely I will sell it. And Warren said that's one of the things that Berkshire does, is they will sell when something is at a good valuation, or even if it's cheap. If they see something cheaper that's much more appealing, they said they'll sell that position to get cash and buy the thing that looks cheaper with more upside potential for a long-term hold. So that, so GPC, sorry, did you ever watch, what was that Batman show? Gotham, right? every episode, my wife and I were going to play a drinking game, like GCPD, Gotham City Police Department. So, but this is GPC, not GCP. I'm getting all tongue-tied. Everybody. You never know what you're going to say here. Let's see. That must be an awkward conversation to have to tell the child you will charge them rent. This is going back to me why I joined the Navy. No, my stepdad and I, Dude, he would have charged me rent legally if he could have at like 15. Him and I did not get together. And my mom divorced him some years later, and I don't blame her, but won't get into that. But at the period in time when this was, in the year of our Lord, 1996, yours truly was 18 and wanted to get the heck out of Dodge and see something different, man. See something different. If you don't like use spam, use Gmail. Okay. Let me see. What do you guys, any more questions? Holy cow, we're at 49 minutes. Ask me a question, anything you want, anything at all. Nice. This is in regards to Cody, who is Citizen of the Year YouTube channel. Him and I did that video, likes his starting investor portfolio. What is it? Portfolio. I don't know what that means. Let's see. How many cans of Pep does that work out for me? That's a good question. I don't know. Let's see. Here, I'll take you guys with on this, and let's see how many shares together Pepsi has. And I'm going to put I'm going to put myself on the screen for this one. Let's see how many shares of Coke Pepsi sells. That'd be insane. All right, let's see. How many shares? Let me zip to the top here. Oh, ARK, by the way, look at that. I'm up to 160 shares of Aries Capital and currently paying me $307 a year of my annual income. What were we doing? Oh, PepsiCo. Why don't I just do this? Let me go to the P. Oh my God. I have a lot of holdings. Look at that. PepsiCo. Oh, look at that. My cost per share is currently $150. So I'm up 16%. Pay me that $460 a year. All right, PepsiCo. Let's see how many shares outstanding. I guess we would have to need to know. Where do I need to go? Financials. Yeah, this is concerning. This 96% free cash flow payout ratio, but they increased that dividend 7%. Also, inflation has been 7-ish, 8%. So I think those things, that's brought their free cash flow down, having to pay more. And I think it's going to start coming down. And this is just a good thing to think about quarterly. I know they have quarterly numbers on here. They don't have the free cash flow per share growth, but I'm much more concerned. I love the annual because of cyclicality. Again, I'll go back to Berkshire with See's Candy. I think 9 or 10 months out of the year, they lose money. So if you were to look at them in those months, you'd be like, this business is terrible. But come the holidays, come Christmas, that's when they make all of their money. It's just Thanksgiving, Christmas time, New Year's, end of year, See's Candy. So you need that annual. It's just good to get the whole picture, and quarterly earnings, unless something really bizarre is going on, doesn't really concern me too much. So the bigger trend for me is always looking at annual. So what were we doing here anyway? Oh yeah. PepsiCo currently has a 1.39 billion shares outstanding. So I have 100 shares. How many cans of Pepsi does PepsiCo sell a year? And then you can do the math, which I'm not going to do the math. I'm not very good at that, but yeah. Oh, let's see. Okay, good. My Warner Brothers Discovery question. The IPs they hold are worth at least $16 a share. Well, yeah, that would be good. I'll probably just hold them. I did take a loss on the ones I sold. I was going to sell right when they got spun out. I wanted to say shat out, which I guess I just did. When they got spun out and they jumped up, right? They were at like, 27, 28. And I was holding for 30. I was like, okay, I think I'll sell around 30. And then it just, but let's see. If I own 100 shares, one out of every 13.8 million. KC, I love you. I love it. Just awesome. So there we go. So one out of every 13 point, that might be a short. I think you just gave me a short I'm going to do this week. I'll have fun with it. So that's it, huh? So that 13,800,000th can of Pepsi that's sold. This is all mine. I love it. Thank you for sharing that, dude. That's brilliant. That's the awesome quote. I love it. Let's see. What do I think of Ford stock? I'd stay away. Not big on autos. Razor thin profit margins. Takes a lot of capital lot of capital has to go into the business to keep the business making money and profitable. It's really, I don't see a lot of moats there. I know we see Fords everywhere, but it's a really capital intensive business from what I remember reading. So, yeah, I'm just not big on auto manufacturers. And that's why I've never been big on Tesla. That I think, and yeah, this might, a lot of people disagree. At the end of the day, they're just another car company. And as all the companies start shifting into EVs, and there's even new companies that are only EV, just more competition. And if you look at Tesla's market share of the EV space, it just keeps coming down and down. So in that regard, fantastic product. Love their cars, really fun to drive. Don't own one yet, maybe someday. But as a business, they just don't do it to me. There you go. Caleb, thank you. Thank you for picking that up. And let's see. Dude, the time just flies by on these. I love doing them. Let's see what we got here. Trey, what's up, Trey? I haven't seen you before around these parts, stranger. UNP and or rail versus trucking in general. I think rail is going to be needed. I think I do own Union. I did own Union Pacific outright. I do own them as part of mutual funds. But as far as rail, it's so needed because as we saw here in the United States, remember that the rail union was going to go on strike and the government stepped in and is like, no, you're not going on strike. That will create massive problems in the supply chain. So I think rail is just safe. It's one of the cheaper ways, I believe, to move product cross country. So yeah, there you go. Cody picking that up. Show us your ad revenue. Well, it's not a lot. I'm trying to think. I don't know how I could do that this quick, but let's just say the last payment I received from YouTube was not going to go into my bank account, but it was like $130 or something. So, I mean, even if you want to round up to $150 a month, dude, that's not even 2 hours of me working at my job. And obviously, I put way more time and effort into this. So this truly right now is just a labor of love. And on top of that, I'm about to renew up on the 23rd for one more year of Simply Safe Dividends. $399 that's going to cost me. I may find something different later in the year. I might see if there's I'm really liking Alpha Spread. It's just Simply Safe. Looks so nice. It's so easy with the information just right there. It's easy to show on videos. And unless I start making a lot more, I may try to shift to like Ryan uses Seeking Alpha. But dude, honestly, we'll round it up. We'll say I make $150 a month, which some months it's been closer to 100. We'll call $150 a month I make from YouTube. So but I loved it. This is what I love. I love talking with all of you. I love the ideas. This just truly is a labor of love right now. And the financial component it's nothing, dude. I mean, it's nothing, So let me try and get through as we got a few minutes here. Let's see. Tesla. I love it. Tesla's had to slash prices. Yeah. My wife and I were just talking about that. I think the cheapest 2023 model, I don't know, is that S, Y, whatever the low end model is, like after the tax credits, like $35,000. And we actually thought, like, should we think about getting one? But we're still on the fence. We'll take a year or two to make that decision. And yeah, so I don't know, man. I'm not a big Tesla, I know my wife yelled at me for selling them earlier, but here, yeah. No worries, man. I'm not hiding it. I don't mind, but it's almost sad because like I said, I work a little less than 2 hours at my job and I'm making what I make from YouTube in a whole month. So go figure, man. But it's something I love. And I don't know. Will I ever do this full time? Probably not, but I don't know. I don't know what the future holds. Just right now I'm enjoying popping on once a week to chat with all y'all. Doing the podcast, the newsletter, a couple videos a week. It's fun. What do you guys also want to know as let's see. Let's see. Tires you know what about Tesla, Killer, as we were looking up? They say that I think 500,000 miles is what the batteries are supposed to last, but battery replacement right now, if something breaks, is like 13 to 15 ish, I think, $1,000. Like, I saw that and I was like, ooh, like that to me. Ugh. Let's see. Yeah, I should regress closing her Tesla short. A lot of people made money off that, and I don't know. Is it time to get back in? Oh, you know what? Let's do this. This will be fun. We'll wrap up with this. Let's look and see what Alpha Spread's intrinsic value on Tesla is while we are here. Let's see. All right. Here's the main. Here comes main on Alpha Spread. So let's see what they're just and you can play with numbers, play with them all you like. So as soon as we load up here, interesting, KC, here you go. Alpha Spread has an intrinsic value base case of 126, so 3% about fairly valued, but the base case $84. So that is interesting, but I will say, if we look at their discounted cash flow value and not the relative value, so the DCF has $70. Now, some investors want to buy when the stock price is under the DCF value for to be the safest. But at the base, interesting base case, they're saying it's undervalued right now. So again, this is all just Alpha Spreads, take what you will. And Cody, I think I might be fuzzing out here. My connection slapped up. Let's see. He makes more in 2 hours of 9 to 5 work than doing an entire month of YouTube. Yeah, for most of us, it is, dude. We love doing this stuff, and yeah, someday maybe you blow up. I don't know, but I put it this way. In the beginning, it was something I thought about a lot, and I was like, oh, I gotta make a video blow up. But now, I put it this way. Also, I do videos that I know will do better than most of my stuff, like when I did the 10 cheap dividend stocks, because it's sharing quick ideas that people are interested in, that has more appeal. But some of the other stuff I do, I'm like, I really want to do this. I'm going to enjoy it. And I know it won't get a ton of views. So, oh, dude, yeah, this honestly, for the 52 of you watching, this has been the biggest benefit, is meeting people from all over the world. I mean, I truly do love it. And oh my God, it's time already. Look at this. Dude, this flies by so quick, so quick. We talked about a lot of stuff. If you just tuned up, your car and then just tuned in, you can go back. I pretty much explained why I'm buying SCHD. And then somewhere in the middle there, I went through the whole portfolio, scrolled through it. So if you want to go back and see my average cost on stuff, you can go ahead and pause the video from that. And all right, yeah. So like I said, most of a hobby. Bob, I'm going to take that cue from you. It's time to go. It's time to get on out of here. Heard a quick FS. It's free, gives you 10 years. You know what? Quick FS, and also I got to talk to him. European DGI, European Dividend Growth Investor, something.io. He was using, I watched one of his videos maybe a few weeks ago, and he used something that showed intrinsic value and a whole bunch of other metrics and figures. I'm going to look at what that was. If anyone knows, I will also check on, I'm going to write it down right now. I don't have a pen. As soon as I get off, I'm going to write down Quick FS and check that out. I love it. So put it that way, I will be paying for one more year of Simply Safe. So this time next year may be the last that I use of Simply Safe. And I'm going to see if I can find something better. And as we've seen before, their dividend score is nice to know, but unless I blow up and I start making like $500 a month, I don't know. We'll see. I'm a small timer, but anyway, guys, I'm glad you enjoyed it. A lot of good stuff we talked about, nice ideas that you guys shared, and I really do appreciate it. And I definitely will be back to talk to you next week Same, same Dapper time, same Dapper channel. And I'll talk to you later. So long, everybody.